Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, David here, and welcome back to another video. And this should be fun. As you can see, different setup a little bit. I moved the desk around. That is because I have terrible lighting and I'm trying to make it a little better. So from what I'm seeing, video quality seems to be a little better, less shaky, better lighting. That's the goal. So drop your comments and let me know what you think about this new setup here. Today, I want to talk about something that has been on my mind for a while now, especially since it's been calm when it comes to Atlus news. Of course, I'm still trying to be the #1 source of Atlus news reporting on YouTube, so make sure you tune in to the channel for that. As soon as there's any type of information, any news, I will report on it. It's been calm lately. Atlus, we don't know what's next for them in terms of their game releases in 2025. We have ideas here and there, but nothing is confirmed. So today I want to speculate on the Persona side of things specifically. Why? Because Atlus and Sega explicitly said to their investors in multiple investors meeting lately that they want to have yearly releases for some of their more prominent IPs, including Persona on the Atlus side of things. And they've been doing this for years. The yearly Persona release, we've been seeing this for years at this point. I've been counting from when they started to do global launches for their games. That's kind of when we started to see regular yearly Persona releases from Atlus. And of course this year there is no Persona release, as at least that is announced or confirmed for now, but I do think there is going to be a Persona reveal and release this year. So in 2020, Atlus gave us Persona 5 Royal. That was the Western release of the game. 2021, Persona 5 Strikers, again, Western release of the game. 2022, we were full all-in global launches, worldwide releases for Atlus titles, including of course Persona. So in 2022, we got Persona ports from the which was the result of the Persona 25th anniversary in 2021. 2023, we got Persona 5 Tactica, and 2024, we got this little game right here, Persona 3 Reload. So 2025, what are we going to see? I mean, at this point, I'm recording this early February. I don't expect Persona 6 to release this year anymore. I still expect Atlus to reveal Persona 6. Of course, I've been talking about this, and I'm not going to spend more time talking about it today. If you want to hear my thoughts, my in-depth thoughts on what's going on with Persona 6, I made multiple videos. Just click the video button and check out my other vids, please. So what else? I mean, I am fully expecting a Persona game release this year. What can it be? I'm going to get the boring pick out of the way first. Persona 5 The Phantom X, I am not going to count this as the yearly Persona release. For the simple fact that yes, Atlus is helping with the project, but it's not developed in-house by Atlus. It's with Perfect World Games, right? So I'm not counting this game, although I expect Persona 5 The Phantom X to release worldwide in English on PC and mobile this year, maybe even console late in the year. So this could happen at any time. What else could happen? I mean, if Persona 6 is going to release next year, which I fully expect because they're going to start the Persona 30th anniversary celebration this next year, so it totally makes sense to reveal Persona 6 this year and to release it next year. I think it's fair to expect something a little smaller for this year. So what can it be? I mean, I have a lot of ideas. Right now, I am still playing Persona Q. So if you guys don't know, I am on a mission to go back and beat all Atlus games from my backlog that I have not beaten in the past, and I want to review them and give you guys my first playthrough impressions and in-depth review of all these games. So I'm still on Persona Q, and playing Persona Q on 3DS, I of course have head cramps because this thing it's not comfortable for me at all, but I am playing it on there, and I'm thinking it should be on modern platforms. So Persona Q and Persona Q2 will probably release on modern platforms, maybe even this year. They would have to port these two games. Of course, we have an English dub and English voices for Persona Q, the first game, which they're a treat. Again, I am going to drop my review of Persona Q as soon as I'm done with it in the next few weeks, I assume. So Persona Q fully voiced in English. Q2 It's not voiced in English. It was kind of dropped out there. The Switch was already out when it dropped on 3DS, so it makes sense to voice Persona Q2, make them look good, make them work on one screen, because I know that some of y'all were already typing, oh, but David, this game has to be on dual screen devices. No. No. And there's one reason for that. This bad boy right here. Atlus released Etrian Odyssey 1, 2, and 3 on Nintendo Switch in 2023, 2 years ago. And these games, Persona Q 1 and 2 are Etrian Odyssey games. They play in the same way. You create your map, you move around the dungeon, you explore from floor to floor. And this thing works extremely well on Nintendo Switch and PC on one-screen devices. It works well. They found a way to make it work in a great way, and this game proves it. I think there's a good chance we see Persona Q 1 and 2 on modern platforms this year. I would certainly love to play Persona Q on a system that is a one-screen device. Other than that, when it comes to smaller game releases, I know, and Atlus, they told us that they have desire to bring back Persona 1 and Persona 2 duology. I expect him to do it. When we read an interview from last year, I think it was Wada or Hoshino that was interviewed, he said that there's definitely desire from peeps at Atlus to port these games, but they don't really know how they want to do it, which is kind of leading me to believe that they're going to take this safe route and make them look better, make them sound better, and just straight up port them. So Persona 1 and 2 duology ports to modern platforms, if they don't change the gameplay much, if they don't do anything crazy with the visuals like a P3 reload, which I certainly don't expect for Persona 1 and 2, I think those games could certainly be ported and released in some sort of Persona collection this year. This would certainly make a ton of people happy, myself included. This next game I know is in development at Atlus. I strongly believe it is. I definitely expect to see this game at some point. I'm not really thinking this year, but I still want to put it out there. Persona 4 rerun, Persona 4 remake of some sort. Reload did so well that even though Persona 4 does not need a remake because it's probably one of the oldest games that Atlus has that aged the best, I still think they're going to do it because it's a guaranteed success. So Reload dropped last year. The DLC for Reload dropped in February. That was just a few months ago. So I definitely don't expect Persona 4 Remake to release this year. Not even get revealed this year. I still think it's in the works. Probably not now. I have one final boring pick, and then we'll move on to something that could be more interesting to some of y'all. The boring pick is, we know that the Nintendo Switch 2 is a thing, and Atlus is definitely going to support the platform. They supported the Switch big time, and Sega wants to pursue multiplat as much as possible. We've seen that with recent releases like a Metaphor ReFantazio or Persona 3 Reload. That being said, these games are not on Switch. I would think due to hardware limitations for the most part. Switch 2 is rumored, according to the leaked specs of the platforms, to be pretty much as powerful as a PS4 Pro, meaning that, of course, all these games that Atlus skipped the Switch for could run on the Switch 2. So my boring pick, which, again, boring, but that would make me excited, but if you already played the game and you're not a hardcore Persona and Atlus fan, it might not be that exciting. Reload on Switch, a complete version of Reload with the DLC on Switch 2, I think is a given. I think it's going to happen at some point, and I would certainly not be shocked if we see this in the April 2nd Nintendo Direct for Switch 2, which I'm going to talk about that more in a future video. So I fully expect Persona 3 Reload on Switch 2. Is it going to be a 2025 game? I think so, probably. But would that be the yearly Persona game? That's what I'm unsure about. So that's why I wanted to call this a boring prediction. The final prediction is a random surprise spin-off or random new game of some sort. Smaller game, of course, not anything big or anything like that, but it's some sort of spin-off would make sense. A Goro Akeshi spin-off? Yeah, no, let's move on from this. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. Any type of P5 spin-off. I know some of y'all are still hoping for Persona 5 Arena to show up at some point. I don't. Maybe. Anything could happen still. I mean, a new spin-off of some sort. Who called Persona 5 Tactica? No one. Maybe they even port some of the older spin-offs that are not on all platforms, like I don't know, some older games like the dancing games. That's not on Nintendo. Maybe they do that. Doesn't sound that likely. To me, it's kind of like probably some sort of P5 arena or a new spin-off of some sort. This one is hard to predict because they could do anything with it, but I think there's a chance. I really do think there's a chance. So in terms of likelihood, I would say number one, other than Persona 5X, would probably be some older port like Persona Q. I think makes a ton of sense, y'all. Again, I'm playing these games. They're old enough. Persona Q2 is 7 years old. Persona Q is it's extremely old. It's like a 2014 game. It's almost 10-year-old. People want to play these games on modern plats. These games are good. They're decent games. You can port them, I would assume, fairly easily. A couple of gameplay changes, a couple of tweaks here and there. That makes the most sense to me. So to me, I mean, best case scenario for 2025, now that we are pretty sure that P6 is not going to release this year, best case scenario would be Reload on Switch 2 at launch, Persona Q 1 and 2 during the summer, and you give us Persona 5X in English on PC and mobile whenever you want. I think that is the best case scenario, and I think I'm going to have minimum 1 or 2 of these 3 things right for this year. So what do you guys expect is going to be the yearly Persona release for 2025? Do you think they're going to skip 2025 when it comes to a Persona game reveal and release because P6 is probably a 2026 game? Or am I crazy and Persona 6 is simply going to release this year? Drop a comment and let me know. If you liked the video, a thumbs up is always a big help. Otherwise, let's look forward to news because I think a little something is going to happen very soon from ATLUS. So it should be fun. Hey, you have a good one, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.